Welcome, boys, to Mark 15 in the morning. Yes, I'm doing it in the morning. Today will be the morning. Had a long night. Cats and dogs were going crazy. Especially so the three cats, Artemis, Remy, and then Garfield is Sophia's parents' cat. They literally all were in a ball, like scratching and attacking each other at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So we all woke up, and I was like, didn't even get out of bed. I was like, and then Sophia got up, her mom got up, Rhea got up. They all saw the massacre. So Remy ran into our room, and then we just had to have him chill in here. It was a pretty crazy time. So, yeah. Anyways, Mark 15. That is where we are at now. So, Mark 15. It outlines Pilate's interaction with Jesus and the people. Jesus' crucifixion. People mocking Jesus, soldiers mocking Jesus, but then Jesus' last breath and his crying out to God to not condemn the people, and then also I feel like there's something more here to touch on. Oh yeah, burial. This also happens within the chapter. So again, a very dense chapter, I would say. Lots of stuff happens. Not as dense as 14, in my opinion, but it still has so much in here. I mean, we can talk about Pilate first, I think. So Pilate, to me, was always a sad character within the story of Jesus, because he had the power to save Jesus, but he didn't, I mean, we all knew what was going to happen. Like, we've known, like, the Gospels, Jesus was going to get crucified, but it's like, Pilate had the power to not crucify Jesus. And he knows inside that Jesus has done nothing wrong. Jesus has literally done nothing to deserve death. And Pilate perceives this. I mean, it even says, so Pilate, where is it? Sorry, I gotta find this. Okay. He answered them, saying, "Do you want me to release for you the king of the Jews?" For he perceived that it was out of envy that the chief priests had delivered him up. But the chief priest stirs up the crowd to have him release for them Barabbas instead. So you kind of get the feeling that Pilate's a pretty perceptive man, because he perceives, oh, this is the doing of the chief priests. The actual people might not actually hate Jesus. So he kind of understands the situation at hand, and he just gives into the pressure of the crowd. He's afraid of, a mob breaking out and big protests, and he doesn't want to deal with that pretty much, because, he's the kind of ruler of the region type of deal. So he'd have to answer to the Roman emperor. So that's probably what we got dealing with Pilate. But it's just a sad thing because he just seems like a man who could have held justice higher than his fear, but he let fear control him. But also, as I said again, it's like this was destined to happen. So Pilate was destined to fail in the end. Something that I don't understand throughout this whole thing is, like, I understand the chief priest mocking him and even the people, but, like, I've never understood why the soldiers did. I mean, I know soldiers are kind of, they're crass, they're, kind of lived rough lives as a soldier, but it's like, they just are the worst, They basically undermine his title of king, put on the crown of thorns, purple robe, and just beating him. It's horrible. So I don't understand. Yeah, I've never understood why the soldiers are so harsh on Jesus. Yeah. So what's the leading of him to the crucifixion? We have just chief priest mocking, people mocking. Then you got the character Simon of Cyrene. They don't say much about him. He just goes. He goes and carries the cross for Jesus because Jesus could no longer do it. He was too weak. So it's always a cool thing. I don't think in Mark it says how Simon of Cyrene felt at all. We can double check for sure. So they compelled him. They basically made him do it. And that's really about all it says about Simon of Cyrene in Mark. So we don't particularly know how he felt about having to do that. But my thought is that he was just another Jewish man, but probably wasn't involved in all this crazy mob of disrespecting Jesus, but kind of just instead it's more of like he's a what am I trying to say? Passerby who is watching this all unfold. Kind of like in the Passion of the Christ. Now, Jesus' death is always just pretty cool. All the stuff that happens, the tearing of the curtains. And one of the centurions realizing that, oh, this man was the Son of God. Just when he breathes his last, he realizes that. He's like, whoa, that was real. And Jesus, even in his last breath, could not sin. It was impossible. Why have you forsaken me, God? But that is not sinful to say that. It's just a statement. That is true. I mean, it's incredible. No cursing of the soldiers, no cursing of the men and chief priests. Jesus is sinless throughout his entire life, even to the end. And then we got him buried by Joseph of Arimathea. And I like that he is just so respectful with the body of Jesus. That is something that has always been cool to me. It's like he wanted Jesus' body to be buried well. Well, anyways, there's Mark 15. One more chapter to go. A small chapter 2. So, be ready for that, boys. Coming soon. And yeah, no Beowulf for me. I did it.